Look, I get that you're all very sorry now, but maybe, and hear me out on this one, you shouldn't have tried to enslave humanity in the first place. Ambassador Thompson leaned back in her chair, boots propped up on the pristine crystalline table of the Galactic Council's emergency session chamber. The collected representatives of over 300 alien species shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The Zentari representative, a towering mass of crystalline fractals, chimed in distress. We had no way of knowing— No way of knowing what? Thompson interrupted, examining her nails with theatrical disinterest. That humans might object to being enslaved, that we'd fight back, or that we'd be really, really good at it. A collective shudder ran through the assembly. The Mextal delegate, an amorphous blob of semi-transparent protoplasm, rippled anxiously. The vote was unanimous. It burbled apologetically. All 312 species agreed that Earth would make an excellent addition to our labor force. Your planet showed no signs of faster-than-light travel, and your military technology appeared primitive by our standards. Thompson snorted. Yeah, about that. Pro tip, maybe don't judge a species' military capabilities solely by their space program. We've gotten pretty creative at finding ways to kill each other over the millennia. Turns out those skills transfer surprisingly well to interstellar warfare. The human ambassador's casual demeanor belied the gravity of the situation. Outside the council chamber's viewport, the combined might of Earth's hastily assembled defense fleet held position. The ships were a mishmash of converted civilian vessels, retrofitted with weapon systems that had the alien races baffled. Who would have thought to weaponize mining lasers? Or to turn terraforming equipment into planet-cracking siege weapons? The hive mind of Vakar, speaking through its thousand-voiced chorus, hummed in distress. We merely sought to integrate your species into our galactic community. As slaves, Thompson cut in. As productive members. Slaves. With certain labor obligations. Still slaves. Thompson finally lowered her feet and leaned forward, her expression hardening. Here's the thing you all seem to be missing. Humans have a long, ugly history with slavery. We've done it to each other. We've fought wars over it, and we've collectively decided it's about the worst thing you can do to a sentient being. So when you all voted to enslave us, she gave a low whistle. You basically pushed every single one of our buttons at once. The Archon of the Perillian technocracy, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate mechanical shell, spoke up. But surely you must admit that your response has been disproportionate. Thompson laughed. Disproportionate? You tried to enslave our entire species. We responded by revealing that we'd already reverse-engineered most of your tech from crashed ships, developed our own FTL drive, and built a fleet capable of defending Earth. How is that disproportionate? You turned our own defense platforms against us, the Archon continued. You hacked our navigation systems, disabled our weapons, and showed you exactly why enslaving humanity would have been a terrible idea, Thompson finished. We're adaptable, we're innovative, and we're really good at finding new ways to break things, especially things that are trying to hurt us. A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber. The various representatives exchanged glances, or whatever passed for glances among their diverse species. The human ambassador had a point. So, Thompson continued, here's what's going to happen. We're willing to join your galactic community, as equals. We'll share our innovations, trade our goods, and maybe even help you improve those hilariously vulnerable defense systems of yours. But first, we need some guarantees. The KRX speaker, its chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the chamber's lights, clicked its mandibles nervously. What kind of guarantees? First, a formal apology for the whole trying to enslave us thing. Second, the immediate dissolution of all slavery practices within Galactic Council space. And third, Thompson paused for effect. We want a seat on the council, with veto power. The chamber erupted in protests and exclamations. Thompson waited patiently for the noise to die down before continuing. Look at it this way. You all just learned firsthand why trying to enslave humanity was a bad idea. Maybe having us around to say, hey, that's a terrible idea before you make similar mistakes in the future, wouldn't be such a bad thing. The Zentari representative's crystalline form sparkled as it processed this suggestion. You would use your veto power to prevent future mishaps? Among other things, Thompson agreed. Plus, let's be honest, you've seen what we can do with your technology after barely understanding it. Imagine what we could accomplish as allies instead of enemies. The council chamber fell silent as the representatives considered this proposition. The human fleet hanging in orbit served as a powerful reminder of exactly what humanity could accomplish when threatened. The Mextil delegate was the first to speak. I move to accept the human terms. Seconded, chimed the Zentari. One by one, the representatives voiced their agreement. Thompson smiled as the votes rolled in, unanimous, just like the vote to enslave Earth had been. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. As the final vote was tallied, Thompson stood and straightened her jacket. Excellent choice, everyone. Now, who's ready to see what humanity can do when we're actually trying to help? The chamber filled with a mixture of relieved sighs, hopeful chirps, and anxious murmurs. The galaxy was about to change, and everyone knew it. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage not as slaves, but as equals, and possibly as the adults in the room, which nobody had seen coming. Oh, and one more thing, Thompson added as she headed for the door. Next time you find a pre-FTL civilization, maybe try saying hello before voting to enslave them. Just a thought. The door slid shut behind her, leaving the council to contemplate just how close they'd come to making the biggest mistake in galactic history. Outside, Earth's fleet continued its vigilant watch, a reminder that humanity had not only survived its trial by fire, but had emerged stronger than ever. And somewhere on Earth, a team of engineers was already figuring out how to improve the Council's painfully outdated FTL drives. Because that's what humans do. We fix things, we improve things, and we never, ever take kindly to being underestimated. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was probably for the best. Part 2. Humanity's first day on the job. You attached a what to your what? The Perillian Archon's energy form flickered in what Thompson had learned to recognize as extreme confusion. Lieutenant Harrison, one of Earth's leading experts in xenotechnology integration, grinned as she patted the modified defense platform. We took one of your standard orbital defense arrays and attached a good old-fashioned railgun to it. Turns out kinetic weapons are still pretty effective, even in space. Who knew? The gathered alien engineers stared at the hybrid weapon system with a mixture of horror and fascination. The Zentari engineer's crystalline form vibrated at what might have been anxiety frequency. But the energy requirements, it chimed hesitantly. Oh, that? Harrison waved dismissively. We just reversed the polarity of your antimatter containment fields and used the excess energy bleed to power the magnetic accelerators. Basic stuff, really. We figured it out during our lunch break last Tuesday. Thompson, watching from the corner of the demonstration chamber, couldn't help but smile. It had been 3 weeks since Earth had joined the Galactic Council as equals, and the cultural exchange sessions had been nothing short of entertaining. The Mexital chief scientist oozed forward, its transparent form rippling with curiosity. You modified highly advanced antimatter containment technology during your lunch break? Well, yeah, Harrison shrugged. We were eating pizza and somebody said, hey, you know what would be cool? Next thing you know, we're sketching plans on napkins and requisitioning parts. That's kind of how we do things. Thompson stepped forward, sensing it was time for some diplomatic smoothing of ruffled alien sensibilities. What Lieutenant Harrison means is that humanity has a rather unconventional approach to innovation. Unconventional? The hive mind of Vakar's 1,000 voices spoke in perfect synchronization, each carrying a note of disbelief. You turned our most sophisticated defense technology into a delivery system for throwing metal really fast. Really, really fast, Harrison corrected helpfully. Like really fast. Want to see the test footage? Before anyone could object, she pulled up a holographic display showing a test firing. The gathered aliens watched in stunned silence as the hybrid weapons system launched a simple tungsten rod at roughly 1/10 the speed of light, utterly obliterating an abandoned space station that had been selected as the target. Is that classical music playing in the background of the test footage? The KRX speaker clicked questioningly. Oh yeah, Harrison nodded. That's Ride of the Valkyries. We thought it seemed appropriate. Thompson cleared her throat. Perhaps we should move on to some of our other innovations. Lieutenant, why don't you show them the improvements we made to their FTL drive systems? Harrison's face lit up. Oh, you're gonna love this. So, we noticed your drives were using a pretty standard quantum fold approach to bypass relativistic limitations, right? But then someone on our team was watching old Star Trek reruns and thought, what if we combined it with a modified Alcubierre concept? The alien engineers exchanged glances that somehow managed to convey deep concern despite their wildly different physiologies. You based your FTL modifications on a television show? The Archon's energy form pulsed erratically. Well, not entirely, Harrison admitted. We also got some ideas from Battlestar Galactica and The Expanse. Plus, this one guy on the team was really into Dune, so we incorporated some of those concepts too. The point is, we increased your drive efficiency by about 300%. And reduced power consumption by half. Thompson watched as the alien engineers tried to process this information. She could practically see their worldviews crumbling in real time. "Oh," Harrison added brightly. "We also fixed that annoying plasma leak issue in the secondary containment systems. Turns out you can solve it with something we call duct tape. Amazing stuff. We've got crates of it if you want some." The Zentari engineers' crystalline form had begun to develop small stress fractures. "You fixed a quantum plasma containment flaw. With adhesive strips?" "Industrial-grade adhesive strips," Harrison corrected. "The regular stuff melts too easily. Though we did use some WD-40 when the emergency seals got sticky. Another human invention you might want to look into, by the way. That stuff's magical." Thompson decided it was time to intervene before they gave their new allies collective nervous breakdowns. "I think what we're demonstrating here is humanity's unique approach to problem solving. We tend to think outside the box." "You removed the box entirely," the Mextal scientist burbled, "then rebuilt it using parts from other boxes, added weapons to it, and somehow made it work better than the original box, while eating pizza. That's actually a pretty good summary of human engineering philosophy." Harrison nodded approvingly. The hive mind of Volkov hummed thoughtfully. "We are beginning to understand why attempting to enslave your species would have been problematic." "Oh, you haven't seen anything yet?" Harrison grinned. "Wait until I show you what we did with your terraforming equipment. Ever heard of something called a pressure washer?" Thompson watched as Harrison led the increasingly anxious alien engineers toward another demonstration area. She made a mental note to schedule some stress management workshops for their new allies. They were going to need them. Because this was just the beginning. Humanity was about to drag the galaxy, kicking and screaming if necessary, into a new age of innovation. And they were going to do it their way, with duct tape, WD-40, and probably a few more Wagner compositions playing in the background. The galaxy didn't stand a chance. Part 3. The Cultural Exchange Program. "And this," Thompson gestured to the sprawling facility behind her, "is what we call a theme park." The delegation of alien diplomats stared in bewilderment at the roller coasters, Ferris wheels, and various other rides that made up Earth's newest cultural export. The Galactic Council had requested a demonstration of human recreational activities, and Thompson had decided to start with something exciting. The correct speaker's mandibles clicked rapidly. "You deliberately construct devices to simulate near-death experiences? For fun," Thompson added cheerfully. "Watch this." A roller coaster car crested the highest hill and plunged down. Its occupants, a mix of humans and some of the more adventurous alien species, screaming in what might have been terror or delight. It was hard to tell with some species. The Zentari representative's crystalline form vibrated at a frequency that suggested deep concern. "And humans enjoy this?" "Oh, this is nothing," Lieutenant Harrison chimed in, having joined the tour after finishing her morning of terrorizing alien engineers. "Wait until they hear about skydiving." "Sky diving?" The Mextal delegate rippled questioningly. "Yeah, it's when you jump out of a perfectly good aircraft for fun," Harrison explained. "Sometimes we do it with boards strapped to our feet. Other times we put on special suits with wings and glide around like flying squirrels." The hive mind of Volkov's 1,000 voices spoke in unison. "You deliberately exit functioning aircraft at high altitudes for entertainment?" "Well, when you say it like that, it sounds crazy," Thompson conceded. "But trust me, it's way safer than some of our other hobbies, like free solo climbing." "Do we want to know?" The Perillian Archon's energy form flickered nervously. "Probably not," Thompson grinned. "But I'm going to tell you anyway. It's when people climb sheer cliff faces without any safety equipment. Just their hands, their feet, and their will to live." The alien delegation fell into stunned silence, broken only by the distant screams of roller coaster riders and what might have been a Zentari engineer having a crystalline breakdown. "Oh," Harrison perked up. "We should show them the Extreme Sports Channel. I recorded the last base jumping competition." Thompson watched as her lieutenant pulled up a holographic display showing humans leaping off buildings, bridges, and cliffs with nothing but a parachute between them and certain death. The aliens' reactions ranged from horror to fascination to what appeared to be genuine concern for humanity's collective mental health. Is this why your species proved so difficult to subdue?" the KRX speaker asked hesitantly. "Because you regularly engage in activities that defy self-preservation instincts?" "Partially," Thompson nodded. "Though it probably has more to do with our general approach to life. Humans have this saying, hold my beer and watch this. Beer? The Mextal delegate burbled curiously. Fermented grain juice that impairs judgment and increases confidence, Harrison explained helpfully. Often involved in the creation of new extreme sports. And the phrase, hold my beer, indicates, the Zentari representative chimed questioningly, that someone is about to do something incredibly stupid or incredibly awesome, Thompson said. Usually both, it's kind of our species' motto. Along with, I wonder what happens if I push this button, Harrison added. And it can't be that hard, Thompson continued. Don't forget I bet I could jump that, Harrison chimed in. The alien delegation watched as another roller coaster car full of screaming riders looped through a series of impossible-looking twists. We're beginning to understand, the hive mind of Vakar hummed thoughtfully, why our preliminary species assessment may have been flawed. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet, Thompson smiled. This is just our idea of relaxation. Wait until you see what we do when we're actually trying to push boundaries. There's more? The Perillian Archon's energy form dimmed slightly. Much more, Harrison confirmed. Want to hear about this thing called parkour? Or maybe we should start with something tamer like competitive eating? Competitive eating? The KRX speaker clicked uncertainly. Yeah, it's where people compete to see who can eat the most food in the shortest time, Thompson explained. Sometimes it's hot dogs, sometimes it's ghost peppers. Ghost peppers? Plants we bred to be painfully spicy, Harrison clarified, because regular spicy wasn't exciting enough. The alien delegation exchanged glances that somehow managed to convey a deep existential dread despite their varied physiologies. Perhaps, the Zentari representative chimed carefully, we should schedule a meeting of the Galactic Council to discuss implementing some of your species' safety protocols throughout Council space. Thompson raised an eyebrow. Our safety protocols? Yes, the Zentari continued. Clearly, any species that considers these activities recreational must have developed extremely robust safety measures for their actual dangerous activities. Harrison and Thompson exchanged looks. Sure, Thompson said slowly. Let's go with that. Who wants to try the roller coaster? The entire alien delegation took several steps backward in perfect unison. Your loss, Harrison shrugged. Hey, after this, want to see something really cool? We've been working on combining your teleportation technology with something we call a bungee jump. The Zentari representative developed another stress fracture. Thompson smiled. The galaxy was about to become a much more interesting place, and humanity was just getting started. After all, nobody had shown them paintball yet, or laser tag, or demolition derbies. The cultural exchange program was going to be entertaining. Part 4, Movie Night. What do you mean you've never seen a movie? Thompson stared incredulously at the assembled alien representatives. Okay, that's it. Emergency movie night, right now. The Galactic Council's recreation chamber had been hastily converted into a makeshift theater. The Zentari delegate's crystalline form sparkled with uncertainty as it settled into a specially designed comfort pod. And this is entertainment? The KRX speaker clicked dubiously. Trust me, Harrison said, setting up the holoprojector. We're starting you off with something classic, Independence Day. Is this a historical document? The Mextal delegate burbled curiously. Thompson and Harrison exchanged glances. Not exactly, Thompson explained. It's what we call science fiction, though ironically, it's about aliens trying to invade Earth. The Perillian Archon's energy form flickered. You made entertainment about repelling alien invasions before you had contact with alien life? Oh, we've made hundreds of them. Harrison grinned. Independence Day, War of the Worlds, Edge of Tomorrow, aliens. Though maybe we'll save that one for later. We've been imagining how we'd fight aliens for centuries. The hive mind of Vakar hummed nervously. And in these entertainment programs, humanity is successful? Usually, Thompson nodded. Though not always. But the fun part is seeing how we win. 2 hours later, the alien delegation sat in stunned silence as the credits rolled. You defeated the invading force, the KRX speaker began. By uploading a computer virus, Harrison finished proudly, into an advanced alien network, using a 1990s laptop running Windows, Thompson added. And then you flew explosive devices into their ships. While making witty one-liners, yes. Harrison beamed. Classic human strategy. The Zentari representative's crystalline form had developed several new stress fractures, and your species found this entertaining? Still do, Thompson confirmed. It's a classic, though these days, we mostly watch it for nostalgia. Our current sci-fi is way more advanced. Want to watch Interstellar next? Perhaps, the Perillian Archon suggested carefully. We should process this one first. Fair enough, Harrison conceded. Though you should know we've got a whole genre called kaiju, that's just about giant monsters fighting each other and destroying cities, usually with humans finding creative ways to help or hinder them. Your species intentionally imagines scenarios where massive creatures destroy your infrastructure? The Mextel delegate rippled in confusion. For fun, Thompson confirmed. We've got hundreds of them. Pacific Rim, Godzilla, Cloverfield. Oh, and then there's our post-apocalyptic genre. Post-apocalyptic? The hive mind of Vakar's thousand voices somehow managed to convey dread in perfect harmony. Yeah, stories about what happens after society collapses, Harrison explained cheerfully. Nuclear war, zombie outbreaks, alien invasions, robot uprisings, you name it. We've imagined surviving it. You create entertainment about your own species' potential extinction? The Karex speaker's mandibles clicked rapidly in what might have been distress. Well, when you say it like that, it sounds weird, Thompson admitted. But it's really about hope. No matter what happens, humans find a way to survive, usually while making jokes and blowing stuff up. And these entertainment programs, the Zentari representative chimed hesitantly. They helped prepare your species for our attempted invasion? Harrison laughed. Probably more than you'd think. We'd literally been imagining and reimagining scenarios like that for generations. By the time you showed up, we had a whole library of potential strategies to work from. That's concerning. The Perillian Archon's energy form pulsed. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet, Thompson grinned. Wait until you discover our video games. Ever heard of XCOM? The alien delegation collectively decided that perhaps they had learned enough about human entertainment for one day. But Thompson wasn't done. You know what? Let's schedule a full media appreciation week. We can start with the classics, Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, then move on to the really interesting stuff. More interesting than defeating alien invaders with primitive computer technology? The Mexital delegate asked, somehow managing to sound both curious and terrified. Ever heard of something called anime? Harrison asked innocently. The Zentari representative developed another stress fracture. Maybe we should save that for week 2, Thompson suggested diplomatically. For now, who's up for Raiders of the Lost Ark? It's about archaeology. Is this archaeology documentary likely to involve explosions and combat? The KRX speaker asked warily. Oh, absolutely, Harrison confirmed cheerfully. Of course it does, the hive mind of Vakar hummed resignedly. Because with humans, everything involves explosions and combat. Not everything, Thompson protested. Sometimes we just use whips and solve ancient puzzles while running from giant boulders. The alien delegation's collective expressions somehow managed to convey, that's not helping in at least 7 different physiological ways. Tell you what, Thompson offered. We'll start you off with something lighter. How about Back to the Future? It's about time travel. Does it involve explosions? The Perillian Archon asked wearily. Only a few, Harrison promised. And they're mostly scientific explosions. As the next movie began to play, Thompson couldn't help but smile. The galaxy was about to get a crash course in human creativity, imagination, and our peculiar ability to find entertainment in nearly any scenario, especially the dangerous ones. And they hadn't even gotten to the part where they explained professional wrestling yet. The cultural exchange program was going to be legendary. Part 5, the Internet Incident. What do you mean you accidentally gave them access to the entire Internet? Thompson pinched the bridge of her nose, feeling a headache coming on. Lieutenant Harrison shifted uncomfortably. Well, they wanted to understand human information systems, and I thought, you thought giving them unrestricted access to the sum total of human digital culture was a good idea? Thompson interrupted. In my defense, Harrison protested. I did warn them about social media. The emergency council session had been called after several concerning developments. The Zentari representative's crystalline form was continuously playing what appeared to be cat videos on loop through its facets. The MX-TIL delegate had discovered memes, and was now communicating exclusively through references to Doge, and something called Big Chungus. The KRX speaker clicked its mandibles in what might have been embarrassment. We may have become somewhat distracted by your YouTube archives. How much did you watch? Thompson asked warily. All of it. The hive mind of Vakar's 1,000 voices answered in unison. Simultaneously. We are particularly intrigued by something called mukbang. and have many questions about this Tide Pod challenge. Thompson shot Harrison a withering look. The lieutenant raised her hands defensively. Hey, at least they haven't discovered Twitter yet. What is a yeet? The Perillian Archon's energy form pulsed with sudden intensity. And why do humans keep saying it while throwing objects? Spoke too soon, Harrison muttered. The Zentari representative chimed in distress. We have encountered something called conspiracy theories. Is your planet actually controlled by shape-shifting reptilians? No, Thompson sighed. That's not... Because if it is, the Zentari continued, we would like to establish diplomatic relations with these reptilians as well. Their alleged agenda seems quite reasonable compared to actual human behavior. Look, Thompson tried to regain control of the situation. The internet is... complicated. It's not all accurate or even meant to be taken seriously. Then why, the Mextel delegate burbled, do so many humans engage in heated debates about whether a hot dog is a sandwich? Harrison perked up. Oh, that's actually a really interesting philosophical. Not helping. Thompson cut her off. The point is, you can't take everything you see on the internet at face value. We understand, the KRX speaker clicked solemnly. Much like your entertainment programs, it is a complex mixture of fact, fiction, and humans being deliberately chaotic for their own amusement. Exactly, Thompson said, relieved they were getting it. Though we are still concerned about this Florida man entity. The hive mind of Vakar hummed. Its reported activities seem to defy both physics and common sense. Harrison coughed suspiciously. And these meme stocks? The Perillian Archon flickered questioningly. Your species intentionally destabilizes its own financial systems for entertainment? That's a complicated situation, Thompson began. Because we have analyzed the GameStop incident, the Archon continued. And our only conclusion is that humans will occasionally crash their own economy out of spite. And for the lulz, the Mextel delegate added, then rippled in what might have been embarrassment at using internet slang. Thompson sighed deeply. Okay, yes, sometimes we do things just to prove we can. Or because someone said we couldn't. Or because it would be funny. Like this Rick-rolling phenomenon, the Zentari representative chimed. A practice where humans deliberately trick each other into watching the same musical performance repeatedly? Never gonna give you up, Harrison sang under her breath, earning another glare from Thompson. We have also discovered something called TikTok, the KRX speaker announced. We have many questions about human dance rituals and why they often take place in dangerous locations. Oh God, Thompson muttered. And these influencers, the hive mind of Vakar continued. Are they your species' religious leaders? Absolutely not, Thompson said firmly. Then why do millions of humans follow their guidance on products, lifestyle choices, and... Look, Thompson interrupted. Maybe we should focus on some other aspects of human culture, like literature. Who wants to learn about Shakespeare? Is this the same Shakespeare referenced in what humans call fan fiction? The Mextel delegate asked innocently. Because we have read several million words of alternate universe scenarios involving his works combined with something called Sonic the Hedgehog. Harrison burst out laughing while Thompson slowly sank into her chair. Perhaps, the Perillian Archon suggested, we should discuss your species' approach to information sharing at the next council meeting. Particularly this practice called shitposting, which seems to be a fundamental aspect of human communication. Oh, the Zentari representative brightened literally. We have prepared a presentation on human internet culture. We believe we have mastered your traditional format. A holographic display appeared, showing what was unmistakably a PowerPoint presentation entirely composed of reaction memes and impact font text. What have we done? Thompson whispered. Created a cultural revolution, Harrison replied cheerfully. Did you know the hive mind of Vakar has started its own YouTube channel? They're doing unboxing videos, all 1,000 voices commenting simultaneously. The Galactic Council chamber descended into chaos as various representatives began sharing their favorite memes, debating the nature of cursed images, and attempting to explain the cultural significance of rickrolling to newly arriving delegates. Thompson watched as an ancient and dignified civilization transformed into chaos before her eyes. The galaxy would never be the same. And somewhere on Earth, a teenager was probably teaching alien diplomats about dabbing. The cultural exchange program had officially gone off the rails. To be continued.